Clearly, the Nikon Z62 is better than the original Nikon Z6, but should landscape photographers pick up a Nikon Z62 or save a bit of money and get the original Z6? Let's talk about that in this video. What's up guys, it's the Project Photography, back another video, and today we're going to be talking about why landscape photographers should pick up the original Nikon Z6 over the Nikon Z62. Now, there's just one concept I really want to talk about in this video, and it's called marginal benefit. What marginal benefit is essentially the benefit you get from buying one more of something, or adding one more of something. So let's just say you have, I don't know, cameras. Let's use cameras for an example, or lenses. I think lenses is a better example. So let's just say you start a photography with no lenses. Clearly, you have no value in anything. But by buying one more lens, you get that additional benefit of having another lens. Going from 0 to 1 is a huge jump. Let's just say you buy another lens. Going from 1 to 2 lenses is a big jump. You get a lot of benefit from getting that second lens. But when you have, let's just say 20 lenses, buying that 21st lens does not give you nearly as much benefit as going from 1 to 2 or 0 to 1. That's what marginal benefit is, and that's going to be a main concept that I talk about in this video. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about the Nikon Z62. Clearly, the Nikon Z62 is a better overall camera than the original Z6. The improvements include, faster frames per second shooting, better autofocus, dual card slots, ability for a battery grip with controls, 5-minute shutter times, dual XP6 processors, a 4K 60p firmware upgrade in February, which I'm very much looking forward to, a deeper buffer, better low light autofocus, and just a whole host of better improvements over the original Nikon Z6. But here's the thing, is it a better marginally beneficial camera over the original Nikon Z6? Does it provide better value for landscape photographers specifically over the original Nikon Z6? And when it comes to landscape photography, we really don't need much when it comes to a great camera. All we really need is a great sensor, which the original Nikon Z6 has, great dynamic range. We need flipping screens for better angles, and that's really it. There's really not much that you need for a great landscape photography camera. Obviously, you do want it to be mirrorless because of the savings when it comes to weight, ability to punch and focus whenever, and all these other things, but not really what we're here talking about today. Here's the thing though. The Nikon Z62 and the original Nikon Z6 share a lot of the same qualities. They have the same sensor, they have the same original body design. I love the ergonomics of the thing, and I really love my original Nikon Z6. It's done everything that I needed to do. I don't feel in any way that is holding me back in my photography at all. Like if I mess up on something, it's definitely not the camera, it's probably me. So when it comes to that, this thing performs extremely well for an original Nikon Z6. This thing was made in 2018, which is quite a while ago. But for landscape photographers, the Nikon Z62 has two main advantages that the original Nikon Z6 does not have. The first one is obviously there's dual card slots. We don't have it in the original Nikon Z6. But honestly, I've been fine with a single XVD card slot. I know it's this whole scandal, but I don't know. I've just had such confidence in the XVD card slot. I can't see it ever failing. Doesn't mean it's not possible, but I just have a lot of confidence in the one card slot. But if you want two card slots, Z62 has that. The other main advantages for landscape photographers specifically is the fact that you have a 15-minute shutter time. That is actually very important. I really like that feature. And I think for landscape photographers, that's definitely going to be the best upgrade over the original Z6. And this is a feature that I really wanted Nikon to bring over when they announced the Nikon D780. I made a whole video about it, talking about how I think that one feature is not necessarily worth the upgrade, but I think that's a feature that I would really like to see in these other cameras, and a good reason why for landscape photographers to pick up that camera if they're still into DSLRs. So currently I'm editing my video and I realized I actually never explained why 15-minute shutter times are good. Well, it's because when I'm shooting long exposures with the 10-stop filter especially, I might go past 30 seconds. So I might go to a minute, 2 minutes, sometimes even 5 minutes. So having that built-in 15-minute shutter time is actually very beneficial in those certain situations. So that's why that's actually a good thing. So let's get back to the video. But are these two features actually worth the price of the Nikon Z62? So let's take a look at the prices of the original Nikon Z6 versus the Z62. So I do want to put out a caveat before I continue to talk about price. I am comparing a used Nikon Z6 price versus a Nikon Z62 new price. I know that does sound a little lopsided and not a fair comparison, but here's the thing. If you were to buy these two cameras at the given prices and at the cheapest price possible, this is a price that you'd be paying. So going on with this, the Z62 is $19.99.95 for just the body alone. And the original Nikon Z6 can be found on eBay for $1,100. Now that's insanely cheap. I bought the Z6 original for brand spanking new, and that thing was not cheap at all. I don't regret it at all because I didn't really want to wait all this time for the price to go down, but that's extremely cheap for such a great camera. Like, it performs so well in all these categories. Like, I can't see how you can go wrong with purchasing a original Nikon Z6. So obviously these prices will go down over time. The Nikon Z62 will get cheaper. The Nikon Z6 original will get cheaper as well. But let's consider the marginal benefit of upgrading from a Nikon Z6 to a Nikon Z62. The price difference between these two cameras is $900. That's a lot of money. Like, with that money, you could buy a Peak Design tripod, a Shimoda Action X30. You could buy my B+W filters, all for $900. Or for $900, you can buy my 14-30 f4 for $900. Like, that's what you can buy with $900. And you have to really consider, you know, is upgrading to a Z6 really worth it? You're really, for landscape photography specifically, you're paying $900 for another card slot and the 15-minute shutter times. Like, is that really worth it? Now, clearly, the Nikon Z62 is better in every category. But for landscape photographers specifically, you know, you really have to consider if that upgrade is worth the $900. Now, is this something you can live without? Absolutely, because I've been shooting with my Nikon Z6 since I first bought it, and it's perfect. It does exactly what I want it to do. It hasn't held me back from creating the images that I wanted to create, and that's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. There are going to be some features where, you know, even though the marginal benefit isn't there, you know, there's some features that you have to buy. Some videographers will need that flipping screen. Some videographers will need the 4K 60. Some photographers will just need faster frames per second shooting, you know, all these type of things. But landscape photography is one of those niches where it really does not require a lot of features in a camera, and you can get away with essentially the bare minimum. I'm not saying the Nikon Z6 is essentially the bare minimum. It really isn't. But you really have to consider, you know, is that $900 going to be worth it to upgrade to the 15-second or 15-minute shutter times? Like, is that worth it? I would argue no, because you could be spending that $900 on a lot of other things that will actually improve your photography to the next level. You know, this analysis really shows that there are features that we really would like to have in cameras. You know, we would like to have 15-second shutter times. We would like to have dual card slots. We like to have better autofocus speeds. But the price that we pay for such features can be astronomical versus the actual benefit that we get from these features. You know, you really have to weigh the pros and cons of these type of things. You know, are these extra features going to be worth the extra $900 upgrade? Now, when you actually look at the overall like package, if you're thinking just cameras in general, you know, if you're looking at all niches of photography, the Nikon Z6 II is actually a better marginal upgrade for $900 over the original Z6. I think there's just a lot of features that it has that the Nikon Z6 doesn't have. That I think is definitely worth it. But for landscape photography specifically, can you justify that $900 increase? So for all of you that are considering, you know, should I buy a original Nikon Z6 or buy a Nikon Z6 II for my landscape photography, I would consider just saving the money and then purchasing the Nikon Z6 original on eBay for a much cheaper price and using that money to buy other things like filters, tripods, lenses, all these other things that will actually bring you a lot of benefit over than just having the 15-second shutter speed and dual card slots. You know, those things will actually help transform your landscape photography. And you know, when you consider the marginal benefit, it really just is a no-brainer to go with the original Nikon Z6. Of course, love to have the 15-second shutter speed, all those great things, but it's not worth the $900 price point that you have to jump up from the original Nikon Z6. So let me know what you guys think about the original Nikon Z6. You know, is that the landscape photography camera for you? Obviously, you know, I could be talking about the Nikon Z7. That is obviously a great camera. You know, if you were considering that benefit from the Z7 to a Z7 II, you know, that is definitely something valid to think about. The Z7 on eBay is extremely cheap. It's like $1,600 for a high megapixel camera, and it's an ISO setting of 64. I mean, and plus 45 megapixels is always great, and insane dynamic range. So I don't know, man. A Nikon Z7 does look really good right now. So I don't know, guys. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. Which camera would you pick up? Anyways, guys, thanks for watching my video. Comment, rate, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.